The pastor could be the chief missiologist of the church. The intensity and interest in missions in the congregation is directly connected to the intensity of interest of the pastor. Every shepherd I know is interested in the Great Commission, but not all to the same degree. Here are 5 ideas that a pastor could do to increase his intensity for international ministry. The first step is to decide if taking the gospel to the world is really the single mission of the church. We often talk about the missions program of the church, but there's a problem with that phrase. First of all, there are not several missions of the church. There's really only one. The church does many things, but they should all contribute towards the single reason for the church's existence. Secondly, the mission should not be considered a program. We might have children's programs or music programs or Christmas programs. The mission of the church should not just be another program. All these programs should contribute to the fulfillment of that one mission. It's like the difference between dribbling a basketball in a parking lot and playing a game against your main competitor. Just running programs is like dribbling a basketball in a parking lot. Having the single driving purpose of the church is like playing a game. It brings intensity, excitement, purpose, commitment, enthusiasm to the congregation. So the first step for any church is to identify and commit to the mission of the church. The second strategy is for the pastor to study missions as part of his lifelong learning. Few seminaries prepare pastors for international ministries. That means a pastor must be deliberate and consistent in ongoing education about missions. Fortunately, there's a lot of resources readily available, such as books and courses and conferences and seminars. The third strategy a pastor could take is for him to visit the mission fields of the world. There's nothing like experiencing it firsthand. While he may want to visit missionaries that your church already supports, there's value in visiting some other fields just for exposure to see the needs and opportunities that exist. Getting the pastor to the mission field every year should just be part of your missions budget. A fourth approach is to regularly preach and teach from the book of Acts. The expansion of the early church is inspirational and instructional, and saturating the congregation with early church missions will keep the Great Commission on the front burner. The fifth idea for helping a pastor become a missions-minded pastor is to get involved locally. Most communities have immigrants, refugees, or foreign students, and if the pastor would get engaged in cross-cultural ministry in his own hometown, it sends a message to the congregation that we should be concerned about the peoples of the world. J.D. Greer wrote a book called Gaining by Losing. The title of chapter 9 is, Your Church Doesn't Need a Missions Pastor. Well, his argument is that every pastor should be the missions pastor. I agree.